What's good, people? Tunji again from Caesar Graphics. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and remember to ring the bell so you will be notified when I post my tutorials. Okay, welcome to my how to use background series, and without any further ado, let's jump into today's tutorial. This was one of the designs sent to me this week by one of the group members, and let's go straight to my slide. Alright, so I realized that the colors on this artwork is dull. Colors are not bad like that, but they are not really the right color for a project like this. Alright, because I noticed that when it comes to doing food artwork, it's always good to use colors like red and green. Alright, and that is one thing I realized that is missing on this artwork, and it made it look as if it is dull. I realized again that the content on this design, they are not well aligned. If you look at the bottom here, you realize that the address is too close to the tip of the frame of the artwork, and then you see that this pleasure in each byte here is not aligning with the information here. The way everything is arranged is not balanced. So when working on projects like this, you need to put your audience in mind. You need to do something that will make them, feel like getting involved in the project. So when you are working on projects like this, I would advise you avoid putting foods in shapes like this. Make it in such a way that people will see the details of the food. Graphic design is about making your words and images work better. It's not about point and click, but about clarity and function. When working on a project, don't just use images because you don't want your project to look empty. The image should have a message behind it. The look of something, whether it is dramatic as a concert poster, has a huge effect as people perceive it and receive it. So the color we're going to be using today is going to be the complementary color harmony, and the application I'm going to be using to achieve this project is going to be Photoshop. Alright, and we have the design brief here. Okay, so I noticed that we have different things that the company is into. Your job as a designer is to find a way to break those things into groups. Alright, because putting all these things on the artwork is going to make it look busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group snacks and small chops to be in one group. So drinks is going to be on its own, and then decoration and event planning is going to be in one group, because you notice that most of the items that they use for event planning is still the same thing that they use on decoration. So I'm going to put them as one group. So I'm going to be using just 3 images to work on this project. So I'm going to get a picture that shows snacks or small chops, and I'm going to get any drinks to just depict the drink part, and for the decoration something simple that will depict decoration. And let's go straight to Photoshop and start work on this project. So I'm going to create a new document now, and I'm going to click on File and select New. So for this project I'm going to use 909 by 1280, and I'm going to just say poster, which is food poster, and we'll say okay. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is to create a new layer. I'll call it red, and come here, and I'm going to change the color to 88152 because I wanted to use the complementary color harmony. So I'm just going to hold backspace to fill the layer, and I'm going to start bringing my exercise file into the project. So I'm going to add color to this just to add more contrast to the image. So I'm going to push this down. Push this on right. So, and I'm going to change the blend mode to luminosity. Now remember, I clicked on this icon just to apply to this layer, just the layer of the chops. So the next thing I'm doing now is to add shadow to the layer, because I want it to look it's actually on the surface. And when you're placing images on your projects, don't forget to make it look like it's actually on something. Okay, this will make it look real to the eye. And I'm going to just hold down Control and click to create a marquee, and I'm going to create a new layer and call this shadow. Okay, and I'm going to make this be behind this layer. Then I'm going to change my color to black. Okay, and I'll hold Alt backspace, and I'm going to hit the Command D on my keyboard to deselect. Now push this down to about this point, and I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, select Gaussian Blur. And I'm going to push this in just like so. Alright, I'm going to reduce the opacity, make a copy of that layer again, then call this one motion shadow. Okay, I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur, and I'm going to just push this to this angle. I'm going to make it go out just a little bit like so, and I'm going to say okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to put everything in a group. I'll call this chops. Alright. Then I'm going to hit the Command T on my keyboard, and I'm going to scale this down just like so. This one here. Right. I think my shadow is too strong, so I'm going to come here and just dial this down like so. Alright. So next is to bring in the picture of the drink. I'm going to drag that and drop here, and I'm going to scale this down. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'll call this lights. And I'll change this to soft lights. Check the favorites of light neutral color, 50% gray option, and I'm going to set that okay. I'll go to Filter, Noise, and say Add Noise. And I'm going to just push this on. Right? So right now you see we're beginning to see that real look on the project. Right? So, and I'm going to create a curve adjustment, and I'm going to just drag this down like so, and I'm going to hit the Ctrl I on my keyboard to create a vignette, because I actually want it to look like the attention of my audience to be on the image of the food and drink. And so I'm going to just select the brush tool, and I'm going to increase the size of my brush like so, and I'll make sure I use the soft round brush. I'm just going to brush. Then I'll make sure this should be white. And I'm just going to brush to add. So I'm going to make sure this is big. I'm going to change my flow to something around 15. And so the next thing I'm going to do now is to add my text. So I need to make everything be at the center of the frame. So what I'm going to do now is, so this is my own style of doing this. So I'm going to put, information in groups. So I'm going to shift select the two layers, and I'm going to hold down Control and click on the background layer, and I'm going to click now to put everything at the center of my project. And this is the final result. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you have not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and remember to ring the bell so you will be notified when I post my tutorials. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Peace.